instead. I thought it was high time I got back to putting out a video for you and letting you know what's been going on lately with me. It's been busy. We've had a wedding, we've had a lot of gardening work, some harvesting, some preserving of the harvest. But one of the things that I really want to talk to you about and show you my progress so far is the little greenhouse. This is the little greenhouse. It's a cattle panel greenhouse, and it has 4 cattle panels on it. What I did first was get some railroad ties. My kids have helped me do a lot of this. So I got the railroad ties. I had to cut off a little bit on some of them to make sure that everything was lined up and the size I wanted it to be. And then to connect the railroad ties together so that they would stay together, stay close where I needed them to be, I just took some scraps of wood and screwed them into these places where they come together. So that's what those little white boards all around are, where the railroad ties came together. And then my daughter helped me put up the 4 cattle panels. Then I have come along and taken some fencing staples. I call them U-nails. And I put those down here at the bottom of the cattle panels where they come up against the railroad ties to secure them there. You can see on that one better. And I'm going to put a few more of those U-nails or fencing staples around. I have a few in each panel, but I'm going to put some more. And then I thought, well, I need something to put these cattle panels together. And I thought about getting zip ties to go around on some of these intersections here. But then I thought, is that going to work? Because over time, if the greenhouse should have any give at all or any movement at all, would that cause the zip ties to move? You know, if they're like this, are they going to like turn around and move like that? And then the part that has been trimmed off is sharp, of course. I just didn't want them in any way to hurt the plastic cover that's going to go over this. I didn't want to poke holes in it. So, since I have a lot of that plastic baling twine laying around in my yard, I took that, and that's what I tied the cattle panels together with. So there is, like on this one, that intersection is tied together. This right here is actually higher than that intersection right there. And so it's probably not very likely that even the top of this will hit the plastic if the plastic is good and tight. And if it does, it's not going to hurt it at all. And if this happens to move around and is, if I can show you, if that knot wiggles around and gets on the top of that, it's not going to poke a hole in the plastic covering of the greenhouse, because this is just plastic baling twine. Okay, so all along see if you can see all the little ties I've got. Right there. Right there. Right there. Okay. So I've got a lot of ties there. I think it's going to work really well. I think it's going to work better than the zip ties. I just don't want those zip ties poking a hole in the plastic covering, which I don't even have yet. So what I've got out here on the outside is some gravel called chat. This is gray chat, and it is small. It's fairly flat pieces of rock, so it's easy to walk on, and when it gets wet it hardens up somewhat. So I have it along this side right here, along the back side right there, and I have more of this in the back of my truck, which I'm going to add a little bit to this end and most of it on this side right here, just to give it more strength on this side. Now on this other side, if I can show you without getting sprayed by the sprinklers, I have gravel right there, decorative rock, and the cattle panels, the railroad ties on this side. Okay, I need to get out of the sprinkling zone so I don't get wet. So there it is. What the plan is after first I'm going to rake this area right here. I'm going to put up this old fencing that we had laying around. I'm going to put that along right here, and then I'm going to put the rest of the gray chat in this area, build it up a little bit, just to give it some support from these two sides here. This side that we're on right now is actually the back of it, and there will be a window right here. On this other end, which will be the front, let's just turn around. There will be a door right here. Okay. So, after I put down the gray chat, then I will make sure that I have the rest of the fencing staples that I want to put along the bottom, just to add more strength to those areas and along here on both sides. And then I will get some 2x4s and form in the door and the window. The dimensions of this are approximately 8 feet wide from here to here, and approximately, let's see, I think it is between 16 and 20 long. I can't remember. And I was going to measure it so I could tell you exactly what it was, but I didn't. So along here, the long end, it's about 16 to 20 feet long there. It's about 6 feet tall, which is fine with me because I'm less than 6 feet tall. But it's a little bit short, and will be even a little bit shorter when I get the floor in, for my kids that are taller than I am. The floor will be paving stones, and I will put some, when we get to that point, I will put some 5-gallon buckets with water in, lids on, along this east side, and along the north side, and along the west side. I don't know how many yet, but I'll start off with just a few and see how it goes. And the point is that when the sun comes up over that mountain over there and it shines on these buckets of water, they're going to keep the heat in that water. And then in the nighttime, when it gets colder, or wintertime when it cools off during the day, then those buckets and that water will release the heat and hopefully keep the greenhouse warmer than it would be without the buckets. So we'll see. And then not really sure what all I will have in the way of workbenches, but I think at least on one side I will have a workbench area for planting seeds and growing seedlings. I don't know if I'll have it on both sides or not. I might just have a raised bed, maybe on this side, where I can grow things that need a bit longer growing season than we have here, like maybe get my tomatoes started earlier in the ground and have a better harvest of tomatoes. And then there will be other things too. And it also depends on how warm this stays during the colder months as to whether I will plant something exotic like a banana tree or something. I don't know. But we'll see. It's going to be a fun experiment. I'm excited about it. If you have a greenhouse and you have ideas for me and corrections, I'm open for anything like that. I need to learn how. So I don't know if I mentioned before, but I had some cataract surgery. So I had already had this eye repaired, the lens in that eye. And so recently I had the lens replaced in this eye. I still don't have my new glasses that will be clear on the top and then correction on the bifocal part. So I have these reading glasses that I have to keep putting on and off. And that can be annoying, but I'm so thankful I can see. That has taken up some of my time, is just, adjusting to that and stuff like that. So the first thing I need to do is some raking. I'm going to do some of that right now. got that little fence where I want it. And I know it's a redneck job, but it'll stay there. And hopefully tomorrow then I can bring in the gray chat gravel and put a bunch of it right there and some of it right here along this end part. So that's the plan. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It's been, let's see, when did I start this video? A few hours ago. But anyway, I accomplished something, and so I'm excited. One of these days, I will be planting little seeds and putting them in the little greenhouse. It takes a while sometimes. But remember that even when you take a while, when you take it slow, you can accomplish a lot. You just have to keep doing it. Thanks for watching.